Gotta go. Girl talk.
Boom! Hard in. Look at our fancy names with our
I
fancy
know, look at this font. New year, new font.
Yeah. It's taking over. StreamYard is making it worth the money we spend on it.
I feel like we're so edgy now.
We are. I picked the heavy metal font.
Yeah, it's also kind of Christmassy. It works.
Oh, maybe it's the tree distracting, but I was like, I was trying to find like a font that looks like Batman animated series.
Ah, yeah.
And what really bummed me out is there was no Comic Sans.
Savages.
Right? Like, clearly that's the one we would use.
Yeah, of course.
But anyways, yes. Happy New Year, Alex. Happy New Year, chat.
Happy New Year.
Here we are, 2025. And
yes. Thanks, everyone, for joining us early on this early special edition show.
That's right. It's a special holiday edition.
Although, Ryan, it looks like it's the dead of night where you are.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, same. If I open this window, you'll just see stars.
Well, yeah, because like I'm on the farm, so there's no like street lights.
Yeah.
So everything is just like you look outside, it's black.
It's just the Aurora Borealis.
That is it. I bet you the Northern Lights are probably rocking right now. It's like I'm in the right neighborhood for that. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's cold too. Jesus Louise. All right, should we say a quick hello to the chat, and then Alex, let's do some housekeeping.
Yeah.
We got pickups too, by the way, folks. We got pickups. They're good.
We got Christmas pickups.
Mine are kind of like I just went on the store on my own pickups. That's just how it goes. All right, quick howdy do to the chat. Dorlaxian is here. Oh wow,
I love this. This is so hardcore.
Right. Yeah, nice, right? What's all this 6:30 stuff? Well, it's the holidays. That's why. Video Power Gaming is here. Gatey's. I was hoping the coffee was gonna have bats or something. What a bummer. Andrew, thank you for being here. My boy Duke Booty, the Bionic Funk, went and had coffee with him. Speaking of coffee.
Oh,
because he happened to be in town as well. We're just like, let's go hang out. He's still in his like childhood home too. So it was like, I haven't been to that place in like 35 years, like since the 90s.
It's like going back in time.
It was like going back in time. It was nice. It was great seeing his parents and stuff too. And it's just awesome. They're doing well. It's great. Johnny Cock is here. Not just one Johnny, but two Johnnies. Johnny Disco is here as well. Tony Johnson. Luis is here. Hola. Oh my gosh, why are you doing this to me? Hola desde Mexico. Hope everyone had a great holiday. Well, we hope you had one as well. Yeah. The Culture Vulture, 81. William Rodriguez, Leo. Yes, Happy New Year, everyone. I like saying that. Leo. Derek Hoover. Here we got Dane Alvarado. Alvarado. I like that one too. And we got some super chats here too. Video Power Gaming, $9.99 because you guys are awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that awesome $9.99. Yeah, that's great. Johnny Cog flexing with a 1 cent extra. Happy New Year, Doell and Brewer. Here's to awesomeness. And thank you.
Happy New Year to you too, Johnny.
Right. Davey Sogrogger is here with a woo 2025.
That's right. It's officially the future.
It is.
I feel like 2025 was like the latest any 80s movie was willing to project as to when.
True.
Like when's Blade Runner set? Like 10 years ago?
Actually, I think Batman Beyond is set in 2025.
Damn. That's pretty shway.
It's pretty shway. That's awesome. Yeah, so thank you, Alex, and thank you, Stanley's Toy Channel, being here. Happy New Year. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Last week we had a full house with everyone here but Alex.
It's true. It's how I roll.
Yeah, so thank you, Craig, for stepping in, and thank you, Alice, for coming back. Alice had a very late last night, apparently. I texted. So I think she's at home being a burrito. And thank you for Stefania for jumping in there too. It was awesome. It was awesome having everyone there. But Alex, last week.
Yeah, I mean, I watched
Superman
on the replay, and it was pretty. You guys did a good job, except for being completely wrong about the Superman trailer, as wrong as you could be. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Terrible.
You guys did a good job.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, take us through it. What were your thoughts? Because I mean, you had a week to digest.
Yeah, way more than that. Yeah, I'll take us all the way back to the year 2024 when the trailer for James Gunn's Superman came out, the teaser trailer, and it was good. I agree. I agree with the points you guys were making. I feel like the trailer didn't show much, or didn't like. I still don't really know. I feel like what the movie's gonna be like, or what, like, which is fine. It's like it's just a teaser. It's just a little taste.
That's right.
One thing I got to bring up, a Luthor Corp instead of Lex Corp. What's that all about? Do you think his dad is still alive? Oh, interesting. Yeah, maybe. Because like, why would they make that change otherwise?
Right.
Yeah. So maybe he's trying to inherit the company. I know that James Gunn described his version of Lex Luthor as like being such a super genius that he's almost like a sorcerer in his ability to like wield technology. That's sort of how he thinks of him. So he's definitely like going to be a formidable version of Lex Luthor.
So he doesn't just buy things and then people call him a genius.
Yeah. But here's, I mean, but I think it's interesting because I feel like, here's my hot take. I feel like that there is a case to be made that as we are shifting into a world where AI is a factor, I feel like Lex Luthor's position on Superman is more relatable, or is going to be more relatable than ever. Because I can't remember what comic it is that characterizes him, like where Lex kind of makes this viewpoint. I don't know if it's Superman for All Seasons or a little bit of All-Star Superman, but I just remember reading a comic where Lex kind of, what the thing that drives him crazy about Superman is like, what is the point of like the achievement of mankind if this alien can come in and is so far superior and advanced that like nothing matters anymore, because it's like there's nothing to achieve, there's nothing to win, like nothing more to prove, because here's this guy who just shows up who can do more than we could ever hope to achieve, right, as limited humans. And that's the sticking point that like drives Lex Luthor crazy, because he's like a guy who's like lived his entire life trying to be the best, the best humanity can offer, right? So like, I don't know, it's like that's kind of like an interesting, like I feel like that's a take on Lex Luthor that could be, I don't know, it could be very dimensional and not just like the evil mustache twirling ultra capitalist who wants to own everything and just hates Superman for being good. It's like he resents Superman for for the sort of ceiling he perceives him placing over humanity, right?
Right. No, I could totally see James Gunn also going that route, only because it is something new, but also something, it evolves the character.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just, I could totally see where that's going, because if there's one character that's probably had to evolve more than most other characters in comics, it's always been Luthor, because even when he was like first created, he was that mad scientist, because now we were in that atomic age.
Yes.
Of things, and science was like Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't. I try to keep thinking that maybe back then, maybe science was still just a little like unknown. People were just like, this could be bad. So you got like the mad scientist, and then all of a sudden he gets to be more. He starts to go more genius, a little corporate in the radio plays.
Yeah,
I believe so. And then he goes full corporate, like in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. But he has that kind of intersection because, like, in the early days of Superman, he kind of fought corrupt industrialists and like corporate fat cats, and you know, and that was very much his enemy. Then, like you say, like in the Silver Age in the 50s, it was all mad scientists and aliens and far out sci-fi stuff. And so, and then now the sort of like main version of Lex Luthor that we think of as some combination of the two, a capitalist, megalomaniac who also is a super scientist, genius. But I also like the Richard Donner, Gene Hackman version that is also just trying to be the Mozart of crime. Like that's also kind of fun. So somewhere that's like, and I think like the intersection of all three of those things in its most successful form, like obviously the animated series version is cool, but like I think that the Grant Morrison All-Star Superman version of Lex Luthor does such a great job of like blending all those components. And looking at Nicholas Hoult in this trailer, it's like, oh, he looks like the All-Star Superman Lex Luthor. He's a young, handsome guy, looks very suave, but is also like could be completely out of his mind, insane.
I look, well, there's shots of him where he looks like he's about to go like snap and go nuts.
Yeah. I just want to see like him lose one eyebrow and then like redraw it, but like all crazy, like in the All-Star Superman.
And then Lotus
that would be
great.
Yeah.
It was awesome. We're gonna hang on. We'll get to chat here in a second because there's a couple things I want to bring up in there. But like there was other news between last episode and today as well, also regarding James Gunn's universe. Right? Supergirl. We're getting Jason Momoa, the return.
Yeah.
As Lobo.
That's brilliant, right? Like,
so we should have played from the get-go.
That's like a Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool level, like, okay, like finally we've come to our senses.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. And it's just because even he felt Lobo-ish even with his Aquaman.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
I mean, he looks like Lobo. Like, who else could play it?
There's that part of like, I think it's the trailer for the second one where it's like, oh, we need moisture. And he's like, do you want me to pee on it? And I was like, dude's just playing Lobo.
Yeah.
Like, that's all he's doing. So I am stoked. I think they'll do it. I hope they give him the big cigar.
Yeah.
And like all of that. Like I just
the
hope
giant
just...
like meat hook on a chain wrapped around his arm, like the space motorcycle.
And I hope he's a total greasy sleaze to Supergirl. Like
oh, so is he in the Supergirl movie?
Yes.
Wow. It's funny, like the more we kind of get a picture of this universe that James Gunn is building, like kind of the less it makes sense. But that's cool. Like it's like it'll be like I trust him. I trust his instincts and his all of his like comic references and his thoughts on like story and character driving everything. Like it's all great to hear, but seeing just like the glimpses of like the individual pieces, it's like like it's funny. It's gonna be fun to see how it all like fits together, right?
Yeah, I think I'm more excited to see what he's gonna look like for the first time.
Lobo.
Yeah, that first reel. Like,
Yeah.
That I kind of hope. I hope they're able to do it without any leaks, like those on-set leaks. Hope anything they do with Lobo, I hope they do it closed set.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that, for
Yeah,
sure.
right. And then anything else, like I almost kind of want them to do like their first teaser reveal. I want them to completely rip off Wolverine and Deadpool, where it's Supergirl, and then you just see the shadow, and you hear him call her like a bastard, and and it cuts. Right, and then we don't see him until like the next trailer. But I would love for something like that where they just don't show us until like, just tease, just dangle that carrot.
Yeah. I hope we get to see the back of his arm at one point and see if they did that Simon Bisley nod for
Oh, I hope so.
Lobo's back.
That would be sweet. I would be totally down for that. I could totally see that happening though in this, just because of, I don't know. I just feel like we're gonna get Easter eggs that are just gonna make sense and that are good comic nods.
Yeah. Yeah, plenty of interesting Easter eggs in the Superman trailer too. I mean, or just like some fun, like obviously like you guys talked about this quite a bit, like having like Crypto in there, the fact that there's a super dog in this movie with a cape, it's like, it's great. Like this is like the breath of fresh air that a franchise like Superman needs, or we've seen it rebooted several times now. We've seen the origin in multiple iterations, and it seems like now it's at the point, sort of like what like the MCU did with Spider-Man, where it's like we're just gonna cut to the part that these franchises never get to, which is where it's like we've lived in this world a little bit. We're able to, like, we get, like, people are accustomed to the concept of Superman now at this point. Now we can throw in like his dog and like some of the funner, like the more fun, like wacky things that we haven't seen explored in visually in cinema yet, at least. And
Right.
for better or worse, like at least it will be different, giving characters like Mr. Terrific a chance to shine. I mean, like, it's a real deep cut character to, like,
Yes.
it takes someone like that's why it's great that James Gunn is at the helm to sort of say, like, look, there's so much more we can mine in these books, if we just kind of embrace the notion that, like, people are generally more accustomed to superheroes and these characters than they've ever been before. That was the interesting thing to me, like, seeing this trailer, is it's like, if you took this trailer out of context and you somehow didn't know the concept of Superman, or had never seen a Superman movie, you'd be so lost. You'd be like, wait, who is this guy? And we are so beyond believing that a man can fly. Like, we get it. Like, we assume he flies. At this point, it's more of a shock to see him, like, coughing up blood and opening with that. That's like what hit me, right? Is like opening with Superman, like, falling to Earth and being hurt and injured and, like, not being able to get up. That's like what you would expect to happen if you didn't know what Superman was. You'd be like, yeah, he just fell to Earth. Of course he's injured. But because it's Superman, it's like more unusual to open a trailer with him being hurt, knowing that, like, most people recognize that he's supposed to be impervious. So
Right.
bleeding is the subversion. Like, what a post.
We're used to seeing close-ups of bullets in his eyeball, and he's
right. That's typically what you need to establish in the trailer, not that bullets can actually hurt him if the circumstances.
Right. Yeah. No. I can't imagine another. Oh, I don't know if my internet's going, or I think it might be mine. Sorry, I'm on farm internet, so it might be cutting in and out.
It might be. It's probably both of us.
Yeah. But no, it's just like, I think I said this last week too, where it was just like, you never see a superhero movie, anything, start with your hero beat the crap out of, let alone your first reveal of him at all. Like this whole new Superman, this is what we get. It
It's
is
a
wild.
bold swing. It's like having the it's like that first image we saw of him in the suit where it's just dirty and he's putting his boots on and like the city seems to be like getting attacked behind him. It's like it's a it's like it's unexpected. It's not, they're not doing the usual kind of like very precious rollout. It's like, again, it's like throwing these pieces and it's like, well, we'll see how they all fit together and we'll see what the plan is, but it's not going to be apparent to us until the movie comes out, probably.
Right. Yeah.
Speaking of that image of with the like giant eye, like, or people like speculated it was like Solaris or whatever behind him. I wonder if that's like gonna end up being like not a real thing or like a hologram, because like there's a moment in this trailer where with like he and Lois and they're like holding hands and like they're not like this thing with like a laser is like zapping buildings behind them, but they're not acting like it's that urgent, right? Like
they're too busy kissing.
Yeah, it's like that. So I wonder if that will even be like, I mean, it probably is, but a thought occurred to me. It's like, I wonder if this is just like a hologram, like, not an actual attack going on.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like, again, we'll find out more. I'm assuming we'll get, like, this is July, so I'm guessing we'll get 2 more trailers. Trailer 1, trailer 2.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I have high hopes. I have high hopes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to being surprised and seeing some unusual, crazy stuff. I will say, I do like, I get, like, I'm no fan. I am not at all a fan of like Man of Steel or Zack Snyder's like interpretation of the character. It's it's okay if that is your super preferred Superman, but I do kind of see some of the people that called out like sort of just the visual look of this trailer. It's like I kind of get it. Like the it's like the Zack Snyder movies. It's all the visuals, right? Like each one is like a Renaissance painting tapestry, but like the storytelling is like nothing. It's like so secondary to the visual. It's all about just the visual, the shot, the tableau, like, but everything else is meaningless, right? But so maybe this is going in like the opposite direction, where it's like it's going to be more about like story and character, and because I do feel like visually it was not as impressive as like even James Gunn's like other movies like Suicide Squad and certainly Guardians of the Galaxy, which those movies, especially like the second and third one, are like a visual feast for the eyes in terms of like color and and composition and just all the moving parts. Yeah. Whereas this to me felt a lot kind of like some like earlier digital, like when Hollywood was like starting to really switch to digital but hadn't really figured out how to make it feel like aesthetically like a film and not TV. Like, but again, I don't, this is just one teaser trailer to go off of, and maybe it's a choice. Maybe it's like there's like a reason behind it.
But you also have to remember too, like the quality of TV has gone up substantially in the last 5 years.
But I would rate this like going years back, like old TV, like older TV, like
right.
Actually, I mean, that's like unfair, but I just like, I don't know. There's certain things where it like almost like feels, it's like I wouldn't. It's like not distinct. Like the shots are not. You could like put it. It could be. I mean, I'm not like stock footage is harsh to say, but like I don't know. There's some shots where it's like that could be like in any movie. Like I don't know. And there's also like there's a shot of this is just like kind of taking in all of it, but like there's a shot where there's like a giant creature. They're kind of referring to them as like kaiju, and and Superman's fighting this creature in a city during the day, and it's like an overcast day, and the creature is gray, and the building behind it is gray, and like everything's gray, and it doesn't feel big because like visually the creature just kind of gets lost in the like background. So you don't. So I was at any rate, like it's unusual given how like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies are like so focused on spectacle, whereas this teaser trailer seemed less concerned with that, if that makes sense.
Right. And again, too, this is just a teaser, so I mean, we're given. I felt like we were given a lot here, but I feel like there was no surprises outside of seeing really Lex Luthor.
Yeah, right? and Crypto, like because like, I mean, if we hadn't seen that teaser with him with his arm around Crypto on the moon, like that would be a much bigger surprise.
It would have been huge. And I think even seeing like Green Lantern do his thing, Hawkwoman, like there's a lot, like, I mean, big surprises, but because of the leaks, we already kind of knew they were coming.
Yeah.
So, but man, dude, there's still that shot. I know I talked about this last week too. That shot of like Lois looking at the billboard at work.
Yeah.
And then turning around and having that swagger, and you see everybody working in the planet.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that really gets me just like going.
Yeah. Rachel Brosnahan seems like she's going to be a really great Lois Lane. And the David Corenswet, the guy playing Superman, it's funny because like seeing him as Clark Kent with the hair and everything, he looks really young, like he looks like a kid. But he looks older as Superman, which is like kind of an interesting like, you know, way to play off the Clark Kent dynamic, like rather than, you know, nerd versus hero, or milquetoast versus hero, or, you know, farm boy versus, they're doing like young guy, like, you know, kid versus man kind of potentially.
Right. No, you're totally right. I got some stuff here from the chat. Just want to quickly kind of bring up some ones that we got here. Jack973, thank you for being here. He's a Happy New Year guy. Email today, 23 shipping.
Nice.
Lots shipping right now. You guys are shipping crazy. Davey Sockrocker, laugh my ass off. Lex makes Elon look slower than King Shark. I Krista Hardy, thank you for being here. Ryan, Alex, were there any Superman runs that you guys followed, like say the Jurgens run or Jeff Loeb run, All-Star Superman and Superman's for all seasons? Can't be an answer. Absolutely. So I believe I've read, hang on, the Jeff Loeb Jim Lee run. I got all into that. I read those.
That was the Superman Unchained. Was it?
Superman Unchained. Then there was the Ed McGuinness run. I can't remember who the writer was. That's Jeff Loeb. Jeff Loeb wrote those too.
Yeah.
Right. So I read a lot of those. I don't even feel guilty about this. I do not care. I really enjoyed Dan Jurgens' run on Electric Superman. I love those a lot.
Like the blue suit. Or like the blue everything, rather.
Yeah, he turns himself into a kaiju and fight a giant Metallo. Like, it was awesome. I don't know. I don't care. It was fun. And you knew it wasn't going to last forever. So just sit back and enjoy it. It's good. And then, of course, I started reading probably getting into Death of Superman. So I'm a huge fan of, again, Dan Jurgens. Oh my gosh. I can picture, what's funny, I'm having the opposite problem. I can picture everyone's face. Mike Carlin, he was part of that run. Tom Grummett, again.
The guys who killed Superman.
Yeah, Saskatoon's own Tom Grummett, best artist for teenagers in the business. Hands down.
He did Tim Drake Robin.
And Superboy. He was doing both of those at the same time. Like, just insane. And he's great. And the Superboy run, that 90s Superboy run, I know that wasn't part of your question, but Superman related.
Yeah,
Grab that. And another trade I want you to pick up too, which is super fun, Emperor.
Oh, that's Ed McGuinness, right?
That's Ed McGuinness as well, and Jeff Loeb. But that's part of it. But those trades exist. So those are my recommendations. Alex, without using the all-star and all seasons.
I know it's hard. That's hard. I mean, because like my experience with Superman was like as a kid having phases where like I wanted to get into Superman, but it was probably right during Death of Superman. And so it's like, so going to the comic book store and be like, where's your latest issue of Superman, please? And there's like, well, we've got 4 Superman. We have like the Eradicator and Superboy and Steel. Like, where's just like Superman? Like, you know, or same thing with like wanting to get into the toys, and there's that like Kenner Superman toy line, but it's like you couldn't just get regular Superman. It was like you had the mullet or a space suit or what, like it just like.
Oh, see, when you say regular Superman, like he did have a regular Superman, but no, you mean like short hair.
Yeah, just like when you're a kid, your concept of Superman, and I found it like impenetrable. And then I got like kind of interested again when he had the like crazy new powers and the like electricity and I was like, oh, like they're like, now's my chance to dive into Superman. He's all new and this looks cool. And then there's like there's a blue and a red one, and I have no idea like which comic to buy or what the hell's going on. And there's like metahumans and like and then the action figures you can never find red or blue, and it's just like, so like there were a few instances where I felt like I was unable to get into Superman despite having the interest. And yeah, it wasn't until like college reading Superman for All Seasons and then All-Star Superman, which it was like, oh, I get Superman. Like this is the Superman I've been looking for this whole time. Like, and then after that, I did read the Jim Lee one with Jeff Loeb and the John Romita Jr. run, which I think may have been like the New 52 era. And was that Scott Snyder on that?
I believe it was.
Because that was fun. That was the artwork was amazing. I mean, John Romita Jr.'s art is just phenomenal. His visual storytelling sense, and yeah, that was a fun book. I don't remember anything about it beyond just liking it at the time, but yeah.
Hang on, it's speaking of Tom Grummett here, Allison Troy, right? Grummett's run on Titans following Perez's run. Second run was pretty sweet. It's hard to follow Perez, and he did. And I agree with that too. It is hard. Rest in peace, George Perez. That's someone's work I miss a lot. You know,
what? Oh yeah, go on.
No, I was gonna say, like, you're right. Like, it was hard in the '90s to just jump into Superman, and I think, like, because to me, it's kind of like, well, I kind of got into it as his death was starting, and like Johnny's saying here too. Like, I remember Electric Superman maybe on the 6 o'clock news.
Yeah.
So do I.
Reading about it in Time magazine,
and even in Death of Superman, like that was all over the news. Like it was crazy.
Desperate attempt at
it
getting
totally
readership.
Worked. It totally worked, and I remember when they introduced Superboy with the leather jacket and stuff, and I was like, "That's my dude."
Yeah, I did read Young Justice with like Todd Knock on the art. So I was getting like my Superman fix or Superboy fix through that. So
yeah. I think I'm always gonna have a soft spot for Connor, like him and Tim Drake, right? Like you said, like when Young Justice came out, like the first one where it's just the 3 boys and Impulse. Yeah. Man, what a
Impulse, so good. Those huge feet. Like a fast running character with huge feet. Awesome. Giant hands. Like anime style.
Because that's when Mike Wieringo was doing the Flash, right? Around that.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
So everything kind of looked like that. And it was like, again, So good. Right, Krista Horty's saying the Electric Superman era was great. Yeah, Jeff Loeb wrote the McGinnis run. Okay, cool. I'm doing all right. Usually I'm always wrong. The Lee run in the regular Superman was Brian Azzarello.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. See, that's where we're wrong. Okay, good. Yes.
And that is some cool, like, I remember there's like, that one really got into just sort of like the what it would be like to have Superman's awareness of all the problems of Earth, right?
Right.
And being Earth's guardian and trying to help as many people as possible. A day in the life of Superman, which I know as a lot of people have explored, but I particularly remember it in that book.
Yeah, right. Tom Drummond rules. I agree. Chris is continuing with Superman titles in the 90s and early mid 2000s was each issue led into another Superman book the next week. That was the Triangle era. While I loved it, it wasn't for new readers.
You'd never forgot about an X book or Batman book trying that trick. I don't know how I got into comics at all. It was, you just, I guess like you'd really have to work at it. You'd really have to want to like a comic to become a reader in the 90s.
I think that's where I got confused in the 90s all the time, was because I would buy like Action Comics and then go the next month and get Action Comics.
Yeah, and you have no idea like what the hell's happening.
What happened? Because then they say, oh, go back to Superman issue this like last week editorial, right? And you're just like, wait, what? Because I didn't understand either, like what was happening at that time, like that you had to. And on top of that too, because growing up in a small town, you just had the spinner rack.
Yeah, right.
So if your local drugstore is only carrying one Superman comic, that's it.
Yeah. Gee, maybe the comic book industry should have been more thinking more about how to get new readers to buy one solid comic title than killing off their main character to make news headlines so they can sell 4 books about guys no one's ever heard of.
Yeah, well, it works. I love all those characters now. Like I still think back to that very, very fondly. So I mean, I guess maybe they did something right. I am not sure. Hang on. Can we go dive into our pickups?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hang on. All right. I know you got like the best pickup. We're gonna save you because we'll get onto it. I'll say it when we get to your pickup. So I went to a couple comic shops here. We have 3 amazing comic book shops here in Saskatoon. We have the Comic Book Warehouse, which is a massive warehouse filled with back issues. It's crazy. It's one of those things you have to go in. You are going to be there for over an hour. Be prepared for it. It's not an in and out situation. Then we also got Collector's Edge. Same deal. You go to this basement. It's just rows and rows and rows of back issues. Collector's Edge has been here. It's one of Saskatoon's oldest comic book shops. They get new stuff as well, but they also have like back issues. So even like and newer back issues as well, like where the Comic Book Warehouse, they might have newer stuff, but your best bet is if you want some of the newer back issues that you missed maybe 3 months ago, 3 years ago, or you're looking for that specific variant cover, you're going to go to Collector's Edge. And then we've got Amazing Stories. That's another massive comic book store. A lot of gaming, toys. It's your modern comic shop. And so that's going to have your new release wall, all that kind of stuff.
And are these all driving distance?
It's Saskatoon. Everything's driving distance. Everything is 15 minutes apart from each other. Right? Like
Man, you're living in this paradise of comic book stores and
get this. 2 of 3 of those places have free parking.
What paradise is this?
What paradise? It is bonkers. And I was, because people were always like, well, would you move back? Would you be bored? And I was like, no, you have better comic shops than we have in Vancouver. Vancouver is a much bigger city, yet somehow Saskatoon is like the freaking mecca of Canada. Like, I've been to comic shops in Toronto and Vancouver, not Montreal. So maybe Montreal's got a freaking killer one I don't know about. But Saskatoon has the best comic shops per capita in Canada. Just gonna say it. That's just how it is. So at the comic book warehouse, I picked up some Wizard magazines. Well, not even just not all Wizard. One of them is Hero Illustrated. This has interviews with all the Image founders. Image is still fairly new, so there's not only separate interviews with each of them. There's also a roundtable in here, and it is an absolute shit show. And actually, I'm wondering maybe I should go back to Cartoonist Kayfabe to see if they did a review on this particular issue, just because
they did look at some Hero Illustrated, I think.
They did,
Comics Journal.
Yeah, because like Todd is hot in this one, and so is Rob. But I mean, those two always are, and they still are today. But it's funny because this is them 30 years ago, and if you've ever listened to Rob's Observations, you can hear him you always hear him tell stories reflecting back on this time. And it's interesting to read him in the moment at this time. And they're already like making comments about like firing people, even though no one's been fired yet. Or they canceled Trencher at that point. At this point.
They canceled what? What now?
Trencher.
Oh, okay.
Right? But Eric Larson's in this too. And Eric Larson's also just like, I'm making my Savage Dragon book. By the way, hang on. Speaking of Savage Dragon, when's the last time you picked up Savage Dragon?
Me personally?
Yes.
Never.
But never? Okay.
So that would be never.
The comic itself, even from when it started, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. I've read the first I shouldn't say that. I've read the first story arc. Right,
but it's the modern ones. They are hardcore, like not just violent, but sexually hardcore. Like, I don't even know how anyone gets it on the shelf or where you put it. It is wild. It's insane. No, like, I don't even know how. Look, I'm flustered. I don't even know how to explain it.
But doesn't he have like a whole family at this point? Like, it's the character is like grown up. It's like Gasoline Alley for modern comics.
Yeah, like it is insane. Yes, we've got I got Wizard picked up number 22. We got all those. Look at Deadpool hanging out with Sabretooth and these villains.
Hell yeah!
90s
Where's
villains.
that tentacle coming from? Who owns? Is that
this is
Omega Red?
Yeah, it's a gatefold cover. Hang on.
Oh.
Ooh. Right, look at that Apocalypse.
Damn.
Right?
Yeah, it's always cool when his face is in shadow, but the lips are are colored. Putting the lips in Apocalypse.
Yeah. Oh, nice. I picked up that. I picked up number 16 with Pitt and Max. The Max on the cover. Like, man, talk about two 90s icons.
Both Sam Keith.
Those are both Sam Keith. That's a Sam Keith cover.
Nice.
And then more Pitt. This one's issue number 52. These were all.
Is that Greg Capullo doing that?
It is not. Hang on. Oh, maybe it is. Now that I'm looking at it.
It has that kind of follow the leader vibe.
Oh, it is. It is Greg Capullo. And
Greg
Capullo, look at he's doing the how to draw scary.
Oh, I loved his what did they call it? The drawing board or whatever. So brilliant.
Yeah, drawing board. This one's called Crash Course. I guess they switch it as time goes by, but
because originally it was I'm blanking on his name. It was a different guy, and then Greg Capullo. Yeah, and Greg Capullo, the one that he has on like visual storytelling and shot choice is so good.
Yeah.
And pacing. It shows like how you can control time with your panels and comics, and why you should, what to include, what not to include for what kind of effect you're looking for. It's brilliant. It's like, it's absolutely the stuff that you never find in a how to draw comics book, but it
Right.
is a true pro telling you it's about storytelling. It's not just about cool pictures, and and that's why Greg Capullo is the man.
Right. Yeah, I agreed. Like, but again, everyone is fighting in these magazines at this time.
Oh, this is, speaking of Trencher,
Yeah. My mom.
Chris
Oh,
Babinsky's
Chris
mom's
Babinsky.
cousin colored lettered that comic. Sick.
Oh, that's wild. Because those were wild colors in that too.
Yeah, that's a wild visual.
Aaron Paulson, Comic Book Warehouse and Amazing Stories. First places I go when I come to Prince Albert. Prince Albert's about an hour and a half north or so of Saskatoon. For those who are looking for some geography of central Canada, right? Like, that's the way you got to do it.
Yeah, this is another great one. Allison Troy, the Wally Wood. Great. Was it like 25 panels that always work? Yeah, that's definitely seek that out if you're so inclined.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I love all of that stuff. Hang on. King Panther, I'm going to come back. I'm going to start your question. I'm going to come back to that in a hot second. All right. The other pickup. So when I went to Amazing Stories, I usually find I have pretty good luck with finding Marvel Epic collections that I've been looking for. Ones that have been out for a while. Sometimes they'll just have them in storage and then they'll kind of like bring them out, refresh. Plus, when you're only in town twice a year, really, it's amazing the stuff that I will find. So with that said, I got Volume 3 of the She-Hulk Epic Collection.
Oh, sick.
So this is
hell yeah.
This is the Epic Collections in which Sensational She-Hulk starts. So Sensational She-Hulk #1 is in this, and they've got all the Marvel fanfares and team-ups in this issue as well. I was already been reading through this. It's I have been reading through this. I honestly am blown away by how good Sensational She-Hulk is. It is beautifully drawn.
Yeah.
It is. It's funny. I think there's a couple of mean jokes in here towards other creators.
John Byrne being mean? I find that surprising.
So you remember those ads they would have in comics? I'm sure you do. I'm just going to explain. So anyways, for anyone who, was born after the year 2000, in comic books, there were like ads for like Mile High Comics or whatever, and they would have a list of
smoking and all.
Yeah, and smoking, all that stuff. They would have these ads for like, buy these back issues. You can get number 1 to 5 of Spawn for $75 and shit like that. They made up their own after She-Hulk is pulling the pages.
Amazing.
They made their own, and it's like filled to like the brim of jokes and fake. Like, this is like, you could tell they realize that these ads are trying to control the market, and they make fun of that. So even in some of these, they're like, oh, where is it?
100%.
I'm just trying. Excalibur, another X title, $60 million zillion billion dollars. Even for the ones that haven't come out yet. Alan Davis does such great babes. Hubba hubba.
It's not wrong.
Right? He's not wrong. This is where it gets mean. Elf Quest, #1 to present, $1,000. See, the wolves died, and Richard and Penny got evicted, and we need to raise money for them. In fact, don't even buy the comics. Just call 1-800-ELF-HELP and pledge. Like I was like, dude,
No.
that's
Yeah,
such a dick.
that's pretty brutal.
Uh,
Hopefully they were
Marvel
friends, and that's
Saga.
just friendly joshing.
Oh God, I hope so too, because it sounds really mean, like out of context.
I mean, those ElfQuest
Marvel
books sold
Saga,
like gangbusters, right? So
dude,
it's probably
it's so good. I think that's the only one
jealousy
that's
speaking.
the
It was
whole
like the
thing.
only books you could get at like a bookstore for most of the 90s, the only comic books that they'd have. Next to
That's
like
true. Yeah,
Garfield and Calvin and Hobbes.
right. Yeah, I love ElfQuest. It's, and again, anyone, if you've never read ElfQuest, get it. It's ahead of its time. It's amazing high fantasy. It's really, really good, and it's beautiful. Marvel Saga. Clip art? You want to buy clip art? Okay, here's some fake numbers. Like it's so good, but just like I said, you got these beautiful panels of her
Yeah.
like just tearing through, and
Yeah. So much fun.
man, She-Hulk is so good. It's so good. It's everyone buy it.
Yeah.
buy
And
it
that's
today.
what I meant to say that when we were talking about like Superman runs. I've been meaning to read John Byrne's Superman run.
Oh,
I was
they're
like,
out in hardcover.
oh really?
Yes, like these nice, like not the giant omnibus hardcovers, but these nice, like thick hardcovers. Man of Steel, right? That run.
Yeah. His like the 80s sort of reinvention. Like because I've been like I was like doing a thing of like kind of working chronologically through John Byrne's stuff. Like I've read all of X-Men, obviously. Then going to reading some Alpha Flight. Then Fantastic Four. I was reading like his Fantastic Four run, but then I decided to like go back and read all of the like Jack Kirby, Stan Lee run, and I got just like bogged down and never haven't worked my way back to my John Byrne reading chronological reading exercise, but hopefully I'll get back to
Hopefully.
it and make it to Superman.
Okay, hang on. I'm almost done my pickups, and we can go to your like mega pickup. Also at the comic book warehouse, I found a box of Lois Lane.
Oh, sick.
We are all big fans of Lois Lane here at Gotham City Tonight. I love this. We're married now, Lois, and I'm going to carry you over the threshold.
Jesus
Superman
Christ.
put in 5 minutes. You'll leave alone as his widow, and there's like an electric chair waiting for him.
It was like the strategy was anything to sell the comic, like just be as sensational and insane as possible on the cover, but it just got that as a result it just got darker and darker and darker.
Yeah. It totally did. It's like, so wild. These two, because they were like back issues, these ones I got at Collector's Edge. I got them for the covers. This one blew me away once I opened it up. I was like, holy shit, when I think of Batman, this is Batman. But first I had to get this cover because it's very like
yeah, it's very
it's very horny. I think it's even like really unintentionally horny because he's like trying to protect her. I think she might be dying, but it doesn't come across that way.
There might be some intention going on there. Who's
Look at
the art?
first page.
Dude, that's sick.
Right?
Is that that's Tom Grummett?
This is not Tom Grummett. This is Dixon's writing, so this is Johnson.
Oh, okay.
Hang on, let's see here. Staz Johnson. That's who that is. But like, it starts off with like the Batmobile like going off a dock. It's so good, but it's just like the. Hang on, I'm trying to find like. Look at that. That's when I think of like the 90s. Like this is it.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, that light up look. This is very like someone. I feel like someone is trying to copy, like do their best Tom Grummett impression.
Yeah. That's like it's like that. That's probably like heading right into Cataclysm or No Man's Land, right?
Yeah,
It's like
right.
totally
It's-
that era.
we're getting close because it's 96, and I feel like Catechism was like 97.
Yeah, that's kind. It's interesting that yeah.
Right? Like this is it's good stuff. It's good stuff. It's just good
Yeah,
stuff,
very good.
folks. Just buy comics. That's it. Just buy comics. And then this
go out
one,
and buy some comics.
I bought this one for the cover. This was August of 91, Detective Comics. This is awesome.
Wow, who's doing the art there? Is it?
That is a great question.
Is that like? Uh
That is Luke McDonnell.
oh wow.
Taking a look. Yeah.
Cool.
But again, it's like hang on. I will say that I think late 80s, early 90s, that's kind of my favorite Batman.
Yeah, the like gray and the light blue.
The gray, the light blue, and at this time, and again, they're trying to go a bit darker in tone, just because of Batman '89 and
Yeah.
Dark Knight Returns. But things still look like kid friendly, I guess.
Right, but it's like somber and there's some like is it Scott Hamilton? Like he would like paint his like his comic books. They were these painted like kind of watercolor comics, and he would do kind of it was kind of that like had that sort of like British invasion vibe to it, very kind of like in the Alan Moore school of thought with superheroes. Early 90s, and it was like kind of like Sandman-ish, dark, gothic, but it was like super bright blue Batman with like gray, but just like looked so cool. And it's Scott Hampton. Right? Like did I say it wrong, or is this what I said and you're wondering? Anyway, look cool, super cool. Interesting visual contrast.
Yeah, I love it. I love that's like, to me, that's what I feel like when someone says Batman. If it's not Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, then it's it's that. It is that 100%. Hang on, we've got Andrew, Katie's Toys. I bought those 2 issues specifically for Ivy. Agent Orange was the villain. Yeah, I haven't read it yet.
Is that the guy spraying? I assume that's the guy spraying the like. Yeah, that didn't look like the rat character.
Johnny Cox asking, so do these books stay in Saskatchewan or do they take up space in the Doell Cave van? Well, I made space for these, so they're coming with me. I got a whole
they're going to the Doell van and cave.
That's right. That's right. And Casualty Comics coverage of Lois Lane being desperate to get married is incredible.
Gotta check that out.
I want to try to get Sasha from Casualty Comics. My goal is to get her as a guest this year.
Yeah, sick.
That's my goal. I would love to have her on. She's Canadian as well, so maybe I can hey, we're Canadian. Let's do Canadian stuff. Right, but those are my pickups. I think they are a lot of fun. I think I have fun pickups in there. But you got the big one, Alex. You want to go for it?
Yeah. Look what came just in time for Christmas.
I don't need to be big, but you do.
Speaking of Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, this is the DC Comics style guide, oft mentioned on this channel. Hotly anticipated, and here it is in person.
In the flesh.
In the flesh. I was trying to think of like what to say, like in the pulp, like in the in the binding,
in the print.
In the print. There you go. And it's so cool because it's literally a couple that collects style guides for things. They're not comic book enthusiasts, but they are style man. I think the first purchase was like a New York Transit Authority like manual, like standards manual. So it's like it's just this like archival of like style guides and visual Bibles and that sort of thing. And they acquired one of the like licensing consumer product style guides that DC made in the 80s. And they have it like faithfully reprinted in the book, right down to like the little like tabs for your like these are photographs of the book that they have in their possession, and these are the books in question. So you can see they were binders that had the sort of laminated cover, and so they acquired two different versions, and like this cover is a direct reproduction of like the one that was in better condition. And yeah, we're gonna do a deep dive on this, and also I don't want to drive Ryan any crazier because his is back in Vancouver, and
Navy. So get this. So the comic shop, like Amazing Stories here in Saskatoon, they ordered a ton of these. And so knowing you got yours, I asked, I was like, hey, can I flip through one of your guys's? And they're like, we haven't gotten ours yet.
Oh, damn.
So I don't know if it's going to be waiting for me at the comic shop in Vancouver or not, but I'm hoping it is. And for those of you who are like, you need to get this at some point, you're jealous, we are not worthy. You are worthy. First off, Chris, you need this. You will get it. You as well, Mr. DeSantiago. And I think you guys should just pre-order one or just order one today.
Yeah. I mean, and you do feel like it's like a special thing because it's like it was a long sort of it was like a mythic item that people had in their personal collections, like not a book that was in print or anything. This was like for internal use, right? And it's sort of like the like Jodorowsky Dune book, although but way more in abundance, than that. But still, like it's cool. It's a cool like artifact to have, and it's just this. It's the style guide with some additional sort of interviews and materials about compiling the style guide in the front. It gives you some interesting insight into like being like in consumer products in the 80s, certainly, and that's something that like is still a very big part of comics and superheroes and all this stuff today. But yeah, even just like the documents in the opening sort of like describing, because it's a manual, right? It's like a manual of how to treat their characters and their brands, and it's everything. Guidelines for like graphic design and like how to get like licensing approvals for what you're trying to make, and even the stuff down to, so like these are like, because it's also like an artifact of its time. So like in the 80s, like these are like Pantone call outs. Like this is like a guide to like, like Y means like 100% yellow, but like Y2 means 25% yellow. And like, and then it has, so that's so you can understand, because some of the pages are in black and white and only some of them are in color. So like if you're dealing with a black and white page, they give you this sort of key of Pantone call outs, and you're like, oh, Superman's hair is like B2 plus K1, right? Like, and that's to get that proper shade of blue. Actually, I don't want to like spoil too much, because like we will go into this and hopefully everyone's personal copies arrive. But they make like a specific call out about changing the color of Superman's hair, like using a different Pantone. Let's see if I can find it.
You're looking for that.
I found it. But
you found it. Okay. Back to that.
So this is like you pull like the tab, and so like this is the whole, each of the big characters have their own section. So like this would be like the start of the Superman section, where there's like a description of the character, like who he is, his world, describing it to like, people who work for like these different companies and brands and stuff who may not be that familiar with the comics. And then there's like, then they have like model sheets, right, with the Jose Luis Garcia Lopez art. But look at this, like taped to the back of what would be the cover page is this like Pantone swatch for like his new hair color. Like that's how, like, first of all, that's how like important it was to them that like they get the right new Pantone for his hair, but also like how archival this book is, that like clearly the copy that was purchased at auction had that taped behind the page, and they reproduced it for their book, which is like very geeky but awesome at the same time.
I love that. Still the best Superman.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, so that's the other like interesting thing about this document is that this was the dawn of comic books relationship with corporate merchandising, and like, let's see if we can make some more money and expand the scope of our characters, because I believe what was happening at the time is that, and this is I saw a documentary on DC, right, that they mentioned that at the end of the 70s, I think it was Time Warner purchased DC Comics because they were specifically interested in having Superman as like a mascot for Time Warner, or maybe it was for another brand, or they're just like, Superman is like a great concept, a great symbol of like, a good American company. So we want him as we want to own him as our corporate, soulless corporate, mascot. But as a result, like, they acquired a whole comic book company with a whole library of characters. So even though they were just after Superman, in the process, they inherited Batman, Wonder Woman, everyone, right? And so Jeanette Kahn, who was like implemented as the new CEO or president of DC Comics, part of her duties was like bridging that transition from comic book company to licensing IP juggernaut. And apparently at the time, if a company wanted to use a comic book character for, to put on a lunchbox or a t-shirt or whatever product they're trying to make, like, it would be a cutout. It would be like clip art cutouts from the comics themselves. So like the licensing person at the comic book company, like, their job would be to go in and like say like, oh, you see like the Hulk's full body in this one, we'll just cut that out and send that to them, and they can use that for the t-shirt. The initiative behind this was like, let's create assets specifically that would be specifically good for licensing. And that propelled them into this new mode of thinking of like, well, but what is the definitive version of these characters? Like, what is the version of these characters we want to see on t-shirts? What was the version of their logos, their worlds? Like, how do we create a document that like shows the potential of these characters and who they are and how we want to see them represented? And this is like 1982 that they were putting this together, and they found the perfect guy for the job in Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. Like, I mean, just like a phenomenal comic book artist in his own right, who could draw these incredibly dynamic poses and evocative.
That Robin pose with the one leg up and the forearm across the face looking down.
Oh yeah, I love the kind of grim Robin, like that combination of that costume with a little bit more of a, kind of like gargoyle-y position. Like, it's like such a cool mixture of like the light and kid friendly, but also kind of like brooding. And and it's 1982, so it's totally pre Batman 89 and Tim Burton and people conceiving of superheroes as well. So that's the other thing that's like so interesting to me about this is like, so you go to all the trouble of making this document of like how corporate friendly our characters are, and like this is going to set the basically the look, the tone, the feel of our comic book characters going into the 80s, right? And then what does what do the comic books themselves do? It's like everything but this. It's like, it's almost like a distinct reaction to like, oh no, we're not going into this direction. We're not going into this like everything is like approved and like safe and on model. Like Frank Miller is going to do his Dark Knight, and it's going to be an art style you haven't seen before. It's going to be an interpretation of that character that breaks all the rules. That is like that's dark and you know and then like the whole sort of British invasion of Neil Gaiman and Alan Moore just coming in and like completely breaking open these characters and deconstructing them. Like it's so funny that like all this work went into like it's like the best laid plans, right? Like all this work went into creating a specific image only to have that be like the target that comic book creators would seek to like destroy. And like you said, like with the Crisis on Infinite Earths, just saying like, I mean, in a way, this is sort of trying to achieve the same thing that the Crisis did, which is like, we're going to take these characters that have like a very complicated history and are very hard for like the outsider to understand. And we're going to try to come up with some sort of like a holistic view, like a sort of a solid one timeline, one brand, you know, clear view of who these characters are, like a standardization, right?
Kevin's here, toying
Right.
around. What do we early stream? Because it's a holiday. That's why.
Just gotta show some of the highlights,
See,
some of the
I
things
still
to
think
come.
this is better than like now. I feel like old man. Like this is what Mark Waid must have been going through when like when he was writing Kingdom Come, and
Yeah.
he was like, you know what, this was better than what we have right now. And so
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I agree. I can't help but agree. Hang on, you're going to be able to answer this. Andrew from Giddy's Toys, Alex, for an upcoming video, can you confirm Power Girl was not in the style guide?
She's not. Oh, was that? Yeah, was I supposed to withhold that?
No, because he needed that for a video, upcoming video.
Yeah, I mean, I can look a little bit closer, but I don't believe I don't think she is. I didn't see her. Supergirl is in it. And there's actually like there's kind of an interesting. Oh man! First of all, this image, like, there's just so much like cool.
The Man of Tomorrow. Where's that play set?
Yeah, and I kind of hope that we get to see some of this in the James Gunn Superman, because this to me feels very like all-star Superman, like this element of Superman that is, you know, just like, you know, in this Fortress of Solitude, like he has to use this contraption because like he's dealing with some problem that like is so huge and unwieldy, and like his cape's just sort of draped over the side, and there's a sort of like it's a sort of like cerebral component of Superman.
Hey, I'm going to say this. If Mondo ever gets the rights or the permission or whatever to do like comic book style DC figures, I don't care what scale, I expect that to be made as well. I also expect it to be able to put your phone inside of that so that you can use that as the screen.
That'd be sick. Yes, great idea. That'd be awesome.
There, see, I'm full of them.
Absolutely love that. But yeah, there's some image I'm trying to find where like they have Supergirl, like her costume must have just been changed at this point, because there's like a black and white image where Supergirl, yeah, here it is. So like there's this black and white image where Supergirl is in the kind of like headband outfit with the skirt.
I like that costume.
But then this must have been just at the like transition to the like disco puffy sleeve like booty short version.
Hey, quick question while we're on Supergirl. What costume do you want James Gunn Supergirl to wear?
It's a good question. I mean, this is actually cool, but I like the iconic stuff, right? So like I would take just like
The
blue shirt, red shorts or skirts, like, you know, that would be. I mean, I guess I'm basic in that regard, but
Yeah. Hey, no, because I'm just show her legs. That's it. That is it, right? Allison, she needs the 70s puffy sleeve disco
yeah,
look.
I think that'd be
That's
cool, like
disco.
with the little Superman logo, just kind of like as an emblem. I don't know, that's hasn't been seen before.
Dane Alvarado is saying, I'd love a 1/6 punchline from Mondo.
Oh, and this is the Supergirl model sheet. So
Right? Like I like that costume too.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Just, I'm not a picky dude, I guess.
But dude, if we ever the like number one priority 1/6 scale DC or any scale DC figure, Lois Lane.
First off, she has the best name logo.
Look at that. The logos are sick in this book.
Yeah, like,
and this is like a neon sign, right?
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, this would be such a great neon sign. If we know, hey, if anyone knows anyone who makes neon signs, let me know. I would love to get that one made. This also, like, hang on, sorry, I got mixed it, so now I'm like stuttering. I'm trying to say 5 different things at the same time. I love the predated April O'Neil tracksuit that she's rocking,
dude.
In this.
Proto April O'Neil right there.
Proto April O'Neil. I'm also loving her, like, on the street, gonna ask the baker what he feels about Superman, and I love the Action News van. Everything about this picture has me just like, oh boy.
I know, like a superpowers vehicle, like, set.
Yeah, give me that. That's it. That's all I want. That's all I want.
Yeah.
God,
yeah, we're gonna have a fun time looking through this. There's even a, you know, if you're not like, I mean, like, obviously we have tremendous love for Lois Lane, but if you're more of a Lana Lang fan,
what?
They got you covered too.
Whoa. From Smallville to the White House, Lana Lang.
Super 80s. I love how 80s this book is. It's like, and Luis Garcia Lopez, like, he mentions it too, that like in working out some of like the fonts and the logos and stuff, it's like it's that kind of like, it was like that resurgence of like Art Deco and Art Nouveau that was like popular at the time, and like it's all over this book. And it's cool. Like there's a lot of things in here that kind of remind me of like Howard Chaykin American flag at the time. Like there's that kind of cool sort of like, you know, like very cool like graphic design effects that you do with like a ruler and, you know, like a T-square, like, you know, very like creative sort of, you know, practical methods to, I mean, I don't want to spoil too much of this stuff, but like,
yeah, he's already
like, this is a great example. Like, look at this super crazy cool Superman design thing that he came up with. Like, I don't know if that's like inspired by like the Richard Donner movie with sort of like crystal,
it feels very Richard Donner,
Kryptonian,
but also very Fortress of Solitude-y.
Yeah, it's like delicate but strong at the same time, and like very 80s, set like late 70s, early 80s vibe.
Our boy Hatter is in the house. Yeah,
what's up?
Hatter is in the house. Yeah,
Hatter in the house.
Hatter is here. 1/6 scale Wayne Mansion, or I think,
obviously,
obviously that's. Did you not see that was announced at Christmas Con?
But would it be like? But you'd have like the mansion on top, and then the little clock that you could move, and then the bat cave underneath.
Yeah,
you'd
well,
have to do better.
Don't charge too much, because then he'll say it's the shoebox, and he'll just tell hey, Ramen Toys, make me a basement. Can you just make me a basement? That's what he'll do. And then like, it doesn't matter if it's in style of Batman animated.
The Deflator Mouse basement.
That's what it's a bat. It's a flying rodent basement. That's all it is. No, dude, I can't wait to get mine. I'm super excited. Right, I think hang on. And Andrew here, Gady's Toys. Yeah, Lois was pitched for having the report airplane for superpowers, but that never materialized. Yeah, that's on that, the Toy Otters page there that he did.
Yeah.
For his wave four.
And if you're a superpowers fan, like this book was like obviously they followed his art to a T. Like the part of this was to kind of, like, it wasn't like there's like a superpowers logo at one point, but it's more just like this document was sort of made if like anyone wants to make action figures, like, use these like as like the characters, and clearly Kenner like took that to heart. But also, if you like to draw, this is like perfect anatomical reference, like because like Louis, his knowledge of anatomy is so sound, but he draws the characters in so many different poses and positions, so you can like really see how like all the muscles move and how they all knit together. Like, it's incredibly helpful for that sort of thing. But like, and the turnarounds don't hurt. It's like, if you want to know like what the front of a leg looks like and how that relates to the back of a leg, there you go.
The back looks like without the cape in the way.
Yeah, look at those. Yeah, the back muscles there. Like, it's really good reference.
That profile of the cowl, again, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez nails it. Like, it's just it's so good.
Yeah, I mean, just look at how like elegant just that one little line denoting like the back of his neck. It's just like the thick to thin there. Like, it has that kind of like Space Ghost Tothy. Like, he draws from the best, right? Like, you can see like some Toth, some Frank Miller, even some Chaykin, like obviously Neil Adams, like big. He was just like sort of this perfect confluence of like all those great artists.
And he kind of like, he makes everything look so clean.
Yeah. And clean, but nothing stiff. Like, look at how like natural this like, so like this is a turnaround, a model sheet, but he drew him in this sort of like striding pose. Like, it's and when you think about like sort of where like the Kenner figures evolved from, to sort of like simulating those poses, and like there's like, it's all storytelling, right? Look at this amazing, like, it's like trying to give you the flavor of these characters in their world. So it's like Bruce Wayne changing out of his clothes into Batman. This like, he's like jumping out into the Batmobile or out of the Batmobile or onto the Batmobile. It's like all of the different like, he's got kind of like, I guess like Batman had sort of like a James Bond flavor at this time. Like, look at these like logos, like look at this.
But even those like, it's those straight, perfectly spaced speed lines for that car.
Yeah, it has. You feel the speed of it. But like, look at this like this Robin logo is like this. You can definitely see like sort of the Art Nouveau here. And where it's like his cape is forming the logo, but it's also like a domino mask. Like, it's just so cool. Like, they're just like having so much fun, like coming up with cool ideas, right?
The boy wonder.
And this was like a side initiative too. It's like people within DC, they kind of formed a little group to put this together, and it was, it was like an addition to making the comics too. So
no, dude, it's exciting. And again, the original style guide, like, you could not find, like, if it ever shows up on eBay, it doesn't show up for under $1,000.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Right. Like, it's bonkers. So if you like, again, if you want this, you can still order it. They're doing like made to order for these things. It's not like it doesn't seem to be a timed thing to do. It seems like they're just going to keep making them. So again, don't feel like you're about to miss out or anything. So just get one. You can order one through their site directly. I wonder. I did. Hang on. I'm going to throw the link into the chat.
Nice. I will say as a caveat, like, there's not much I don't think there are any like big surprises in here. Like, it is what I mean. It's a style guide, right? It's like it's not like it's not like your typical art of book. This is like a corporate document, like a licensing document, right? So it's not like there's not, and a lot of it is stuff that we have seen, by its very nature. We've seen it on packaging, we've seen it in logos, we've seen it on t-shirts, on glassware. But like, if that's an era for which you feel particularly nostalgic and you want a nice, clean, showcasing of it, and if you want to see some of the behind the scenes, like kind of as an artifact of its time, like this is the book for you. But it's not like you're not going to see like any like concept art or like unknown things in this. To my knowledge, it's most of it's out there, but it is cool to have it in its original form.
No, I love that. I'm excited to get mine. As soon as I do, again, we'll pull a cartoonist kayfabe and we'll crack it open, we'll go through it. Yeah, I'll I'll tell Alice, sorry, we're recording at my place. Come over for this one. I can't wait. Before we go, so I want to bring up one quick thing that got brought up in the chat way earlier from King Panther. Doell, is Hasbro going to finally let you do a Marvel Legends figure reveal in 2025? That I don't know. I have zero control over that. Like an Alpha Flight box set with updated sculpts and pinless. I don't know. Like, as much as I would want some refreshed Alpha Flight, I've got some other figures I'd like to see refreshed or just in general instead. And so with that said, I'm also going to plug, I'm going to do a video on Toy Anxiety next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend. And I did like 6 categories of the top 5 figures I want. Or, it's not like a prediction list. It's a straight up wish list. So it's going to be like, here's 5 figures from like X-Men I'd love to see. Here's 5 from the Avengers. Here's some street level heroes, some deluxe, some multi-packs, all that stuff from entertainment, all that kind of stuff. And it's straight up a wish list because there's a lot of stuff in there that it's like, I never expect to get made. That's why we do these things.
I hope Valerie Cooper's on there. Heaven help you if she's not.
She will be now.
But so if you could reveal a figure, what would it be? Like, even if it was something that's already out, is there one that you like wish that you had been the person to break?
Shadowcat. I think that would have been the one where I would have pulled the moon towards Earth.
You would have pulled a George Bailey for that Shadowcat.
For that Shadowcat, 100%. I think that would have been the one, or men, or any, yeah, right? All those, right? Deathbird, Feral, Rachel, yeah. Like, so even now, if it's ones that we haven't gotten yet, I think Rachel Summers, Phoenix, would probably be the top of my list.
I think she's at the top of everyone's list, right? Like, yeah. That's needed to complete Excalibur, right?
Right, but here's the other one too. Like, I have, here's another. So clearly, Rachel's a spoiler for this. for some of my picks. But another one of my picks is one that I know it's a Marvel legend that only I want. He was probably the most legendary peg warmer of the 90s of the Toy Biz era. He's also a member of Excalibur, which is why I bought him new before he was 50 cents in the bin. Kylun, I think that's how you pronounce it. He's like a brown furry dude who can replicate.
Are you sure you want that?
Yes.
Do you really want that?
Yes.
Aren't you afraid the universe might end if we get a Marvel Legends Kylun?
Yeah, I would do anything that to be my reveal. I would love to do that. Like, so it's just, I don't know. Isn't
Kylun, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Kylun, like in one of the first issues of Excalibur, there's like a portal that opens up and a little boy like gets pulled into the portal, and he goes to another universe and grows up to be Kai Lun, right?
I believe that's
when
it.
he shows up, it's like this deep cut. It's like, hey, remember this like weird thing that happened like 30 issues ago? Well,
Hey,
that was
that's
me.
that's Excalibur to a T, though.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's a very weird book, and it like if you gave someone a book of like the first trade of Excalibur, and you said, or even like the second one, like where we're getting to like issues 30 to 50, and you tell someone this is an X-Men book, no one would believe you outside of some of the sexual tensions between all of the characters on that team.
Yeah. No, totally.
Right? Like, it's so good. Plus, as the She-Hulk mentioned earlier, Alan Davis drew some of the most gorgeous women in that book.
Oh yeah.
And
I mean, Marvel Legends, Megan as when she's like kind of shapeshifted to look like Nightcrawler.
yes, or give me Megan in her natural form, where she kind of got those like bug eyes and the antenna and the point, like.
Or from what was it? Oh shoot, what's the Goblin Queen saga where she's got the like Bride of Frankenstein hair and the like purple? Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Megan is such an underrated character in comics.
Most people are probably screaming at the screen, being like, "No, the orange suit, the orange jumpsuit from the first issues." Yeah.
Yep. All of that. So it's, yeah, I don't know. I love it. I love Excalibur. That is, if it wasn't for that book, I don't think this channel would exist. Because that's the book that got me a lifelong reader, where I was like, "Yep, I am a comic dude." This is because I love Nightcrawler. I had a crush on Kitty, and the book was just weird and beautiful.
Yeah,
that's that. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Awesome. Hey, do you got any like final thoughts?
Real quick, I'll quickly acknowledge Nightmare's comments here about the New Adventures Scarecrow. Awesome design. We both love that design too. Yeah, just if New Adventures style stuff is something you guys want to see, like, let us know. That includes Firefly from that series, like that like flame lightsaber he had was like so cool.
Yes. I'm trying to think of from New Adventures. Nightwing's an obvious one.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh gosh, it's always like, do another Clayface, could you?
But there's a part of me that's like, those figures we didn't get in the DC collectibles line, so it's like Clayface, Mad Hatter, Penguin, like it's like it's like, well, we didn't get them, it'd be great to get them in some form.
I would love, but same here. I would love to see any of those. I love that. Plus, I would like to actually get again, I'm hoping that the Mondo line expands so bloody much that it becomes the 1/6 scale version of what NECA has done with animated Ninja Turtles, where we're now scraping the bottom of the ice cream pail. Like, what do we got?
Buying like industrial reinforced shelves.
Yeah, right. And I again, Bruce Wayne, Dick Grayson from the first 3 seasons. I would love to get all 4 in their civvies from New Adventures.
Yeah, I really like that version of Batgirl, of Barbara Gordon, with the like very blue eyes. Like,
yes,
and, Tara Strong's Batgirl voice is like perfection in my opinion.
Good. So good. And get me a Summer Gleason, will you?
Yeah. Like, but we'll do a New Adventures style Summer Gleason that we never got. She was never in New Adventures.
You're right. There was a lot of characters though that were kind of reoccurring in the animated series that we never got. Did you just spell Tiny Toons?
What's that?
Is this, hang on, Andrew?
Yeah.
Baby doll and her Tiny Toons look. Like, yeah. Like, so again, amazing. Yeah, she has Elvira look to her.
Who does?
Baby doll.
In
In Batman animated series, not the New Adventures. New Adventures, she's kind of got like the dark.
yes,
the
yeah.
dark
Oh, I see what you're
eyes.
saying. Yeah.
In the animated series, she has a very almost Elvira look to her face where it's very round.
Interesting. Yeah,
You've never noticed that before?
No.
Am I alone on this?
Elvira? Oh, Elmira.
Elvira.
Yes, okay. I was trying to like Elvira, what? Yes,
Did I
no,
say
it's almost
Elvira?
yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean, it might be your internet breaking up, or it might be that's what I heard. But yeah, no, it's totally like she's totally like Tiny Toons character. Like, dude, I would love the like Tiny Toons Batman, like the Michael Keaton Batman from Tiny Toons in his Batmobile. That's like such a great Batman look.
Could Mondo ever do Tiny Toons Safubis? Like your turtles?
So toony.
So Toonies?
Yeah. Never say never.
I would love that. I would be down. You're doing like Baby Plucky with the toilet. I think that would be the favorite thing in the world. or like this, or just Tiny Toons itself.
Yeah. Bat Duck, the one Bat Duck where he's all like jacked like the Frank Miller Batman.
Yeah. Right.
Us getting canceled by YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the thing, folks. It's that happened to us. We got shut down. We didn't get a copyright strike. We just said stop it.
Pulled the plug.
Yeah, gave us a warning.
Oh, dude, this.
Right?
That'd be amazing. The like doing a Dizzy was a little Tasmanian.
Oh, dude, for sure. Or Go-Go, right? Go-Go the Dodo.
Oh wow, yeah, that'd be yeah,
right?
To see what James Groman does with that, like, yeah, that'd be really nuts.
And again, even Elmira, like hugging somebody as a Safubi, and their like eyes are popping out
on this pile of like terrified animals.
Yeah. Oh, see, there's not enough stuff getting made, Alex.
I know, right?
I think that's the problem, But no, I think. Yeah, hang on. Is there anything we need to pitch this week for Mondo? Anything happening on the sales this week?
We're Buzz Off just. I've been a little out of it because of vacation and all that. Like, but yeah, we did. Yeah,
we did Buzz Off last week. We talked about it.
Yeah. So and that got extended, and I think just closed. Either that or he's still up, and you've almost lost your chance to get him. So yeah, so check always check out mondoshop.com for cool new stuff. And we're now into 2025, so like a lot of cool stuff is coming. A lot of stuff that you've seen teased and shown is like right around the corner. So keep it tuned.
Nice. Well played there.
Oh yeah, no pun intended.
No, that was 100% intended. And and Alice's comic also linked down below as well. She's almost at issue 50, and then from there, I think she's taking a break. I don't know why she'd be just saying this. She might have said this last week, but yeah, she's going to be like taking a break and then diving right back in, letting her catch up on things and life and all that stuff. And again, hang on. Here we started talking about Mondo. Now the Mondo questions are just starting to come in. Is he coming up for pre-order soon-ish?
I cannot comment.
Yeah, I don't think you can comment on that. With all faults, reveal hints. We can't do that either. We appreciate the enthusiasm. Yeah, hang on. John did a correction here, so we're gonna read this correctly. Let's be honest. Safubi nerds will generally buy about anything. Yes, I agree. I think they're very easy.
Part of the fun.
That's right. Video Power Gaming. Alex, did you do the Super Shredder?
No, so that's Brandon Gash did that. I did a little work on it, but it's mostly it's 90% Brandon.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous figure, by the way.
Yeah, it's
Like
amazing.
that was the one I was like, I'm not getting the Super Shredder. Oh, maybe.
I mean, yeah, the detail loaded into him, like it's gonna be an amazing.
That's so
amazing
exciting. Do you know
figure.
which con is going to be the first con of the year for a Mondo appearance?
I don't.
You don't? Okay. Just keep
Or
an
I don't.
eye.
I can't say. I can't say, but I also might be wrong, so I won't say.
Okay.
Either way.
So, okay. I wasn't sure if that was a thing that would be like a touchy subject. So keep your eye on the Mondo socials and this channel because we will totally tell you what's happening. Shondo Gecko, again, we can't say nothing about what's coming up. If it has not been revealed, well, I'm speaking for Alex and Mondo as a unpaid brand manager. We can't disclose any upcoming
Yeah. But it's 2025 now, and so there's get ready for reveals. Get ready for more stuff. That's all I can say.
Get ready to spend some goddamn money because it is going to happen. Thank you, John, for tuning in. We love you as well. And Johnny, yeah, I'm so happy Alex worked in the TMT Safubi. I am too.
Yeah, thank you, Johnny, for picking those up too. I'm happy to have some of my stuff in your collection.
Yeah, and Johnny again, he's predicting WonderCon's the first one. Well,
Possibly.
We'll see. Gaming, yes, thanks for answering my question. Super Shredder does look great. Agreed. Yes, and start saving some money. Everyone just start saving money in general. Things might get really expensive next year. We don't know what's going to happen. So everyone just be fair. Oh, Blake coming in hot. From Toy Collector Magazine, Toy Fair, New York City, T-minus 8 weeks.
I'm stoked, and it just doesn't feel good to have Toy Fair back in around this time of year.
Yeah, I was like, well, I probably would have gone with the YHS crew this year if I wasn't like trying to save up and go to Japan and make sure I had that money set ready to go. Because I just don't want to nickel and dime that trip. I want to be able to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna do whatever I want.
Yeah. Plus, I'm still like, so Toy Fair. I mean, it's still like kind of more of an internal trade show, right? Like,
exactly. So this is what I would have done. So next year, if I get to go next year, maybe we should try to apply for one and a pass for Gotham City tonight, and we should just go.
Yeah.
What we'll do is that we're going to show up in suits, and we're going to have briefcases, and we're going to look like business people. Because if we look like business people there for business, they're going to want to talk to us more because those three showing up in flip-flops and graphic tees, they're acting all, we can't get anywhere. No one will let us look at anything.
But we got to bring back the business of the 1982 to 1984 DC Saga. So we got, suits, yes, but we also have to get those raincoats, those like nice, like light gray raincoats. And like glasses that are like this.
Dude, yes, and we're gonna shave off the beards and just do mustaches.
Yeah, and like part our hair on the side and kind of.
Well, for those who
like,
grow
it. Well, just like we still have, just like we're bringing back the Art Deco, Art Nouveau style guide. Like,
Alice doesn't know yet, but we're gonna drag her along too. We're also gonna make her hair giant, and she's also gonna have big glasses. And
I'm talking big shoulder pads,
heavy
desks, like getting a pen set for a gift as a gift. Getting like one of those things where it's like the 2 clocks and 2 pen holders on either side, and that's like your executive gift. That's what I'm talking about.
And we'll still have our cell phones, but we'll use them as actual phones. We won't be texting. We're gonna use them like actual phones.
Yeah.
Hi, this is business.
On my cellular telephone.
Right? If it's February, we might need trench coats. with all faults. That's a good.
Yeah.
And John
Yeah.
saying, press tab in your fedoras. We're saving that for a different convention. Just you hang tight. We have plans. I think my whole plan is like, if I'm going to be doing any kind of content at conventions now, I never want to be caught wearing a graphic tee. Like, I don't want to look like a fucking dude with a YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Like, that's just me.
We'll see. I felt more confident agreeing to the like press cosplay when I didn't know that you already own a 3-piece suit, and it seems like it's much like it is very likely to happen.
Yeah, that's good. Well, even like Alice and I, like, we were looking at like, because we're not going to talk about this here. We're going to wait. We have to wait.
Table this.
We got to, yeah. You'll
Offline
find
this.
out when the time comes, right? Alsa Troy, her power suit needs to be mustard colored. Mustard yellow power suits were big money in the 80s. You are not wrong. That's a good shout. I really like that. Yeah, right, John. You're an adult. Break that millennial mold, baby. That is the plan, right?
I feel like mustard is an underutilized superhero costume color. Just throwing it out there.
I agree too. Allison, no shade to Craig, but that's just dull. Yeah, I agree. Nightmare. Like, I haven't seen anyone mention this before, but I think clay face paintwork deserves credit, especially the eyes.
Yeah, it's great. Hector Arce, are also the art director and kind of head design, toy designer at Mondo. He painted it. He's also a very talented painter. So he and then Mark Bristow, our in-house painter, also did some of the work too. Yeah.
No, we should. We got to get Hector on the show. He has not been on the show yet. We should get him.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We could talk about coloring, because I think that's also a major thing in toys and in comics. Just like inkers or even like old school letterers, they don't get enough credit, really, because without them, we don't have what we have. Blake from Toy Collector, get a pair of metal briefcases with handcuff and carry those around.
And it'll be full of our Wizard magazines.
Yes. Yes, it will. Justin Bohan, thank you for being here. The new font is pretty cool. Thanks. I think it's pretty cool too.
Yeah. I feel so much cooler with it.
Will Alex do his own toy line this year?
Not with my current schedule.
Okay, that's a no. That's awesome. Okay, we guys are hanging out. Let's get the heck out of here. It's the holidays. But yeah, I'll be back next week. I won't be on Toy Anxiety next week. I will be flying during Toy Anxiety. Oops on my scheduling. Usually that happens on Wednesdays. I'm like, I'm flying on Wednesday, but this time it's on Tuesday. So I'll be back again next week, hopefully with a new book in hand. We'll find out. Again, links down below. Alex, any last words? That sounds like a threat.
Yeah, I know. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Yeah, and everyone just, enjoy. Go buy some comics. And that's it. Buy some toys as well. Just buy some toys, buy some comics, have some fun.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I hope you have a relaxing rest of the week. Awesome. All right. We'll talk to you soon.